just got my kiddo to school and I'm making breakfast, I'm having my vitamins. I really need to get a better setup. Again, I'm new to YouTube, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but I just want to talk about Amberlynn Reid, the infamous Amberlynn Reid, because I am addicted to Girl World. I'm so invested. I watch every reaction channel, every single one. I never miss a video. The Ankle, Salty Crab, Mr. Snowflake, Hecticana is a new one. He's really good. And it's like borderline embarrassing. Like, I don't think anybody in my life knows I'm this obsessed with Amberlynn, truly. Like, even my partner. Like, no, I am addicted. But yeah, I just feel like she's such an interesting person. And also, like, I want to preface this by saying, I really hope that Amber gets better. I really want her to. I think most people do. It doesn't seem like it's going that way. I mean, it never seems like it's going that way. But I just saw like bits and pieces of her members only live stream on TikTok, and it just seems like she's being really smug about the situation with Beck and Beck's fiance, which is super gross. But there's a lot of things Amber has done that is also like super gross that she doesn't acknowledge, but I digress. It's Amber. But yeah, I feel like I need to talk about it with someone, because it's just, I have all this information about this random woman on the internet built up in my life, and I honestly feel weirdly bad for Amber. Not weirdly, like, she's had a tough life for sure, and I relate to her a lot. Like, my family is just riddled with addiction, and I kind of had a difficult childhood because of it. And so I feel for her. I know that's really hard, and I'm so glad that she's reconnected with Mama Lynn. So yeah, I have so much to say, so let's get into it.
The reflection, I'm not wearing pants, so.
Yeah, back to Amberlynn Reid. The reason I feel like I want to talk about this is because I do relate to her, and I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of what Amber does is probably pretty common for kids that grow up in a tumultuous household or have tumultuous childhoods, whatever the case may be. The perpetual lying was definitely something that I would do, like, a lot. Like, just make up the most BS lies to, like, seem cooler, to make friends. And that's definitely what Amber does, and I think especially in the beginning of her channel, that's what she was doing with the lies about the dance team, the choreographing dances that won talent shows. Like, Amber, let's be honest with ourselves here. And I'm not saying she's not a good dancer. Like, she's fine. I love her dance to Applause. By Lady Gaga. That's one of my favorite Amberlynn Reid moments. But yeah, obviously she wasn't winning talent shows. Like, it's clearly a lie. Or like the story where she choked on a lifesaver and then she was in the newspaper or something like that. There's something like that. She's had a lot of choking stories, I feel like. Weirdly, because the potato, right? Like, did that happen? Probably not. But it is a thing. Like, those inconsequential lies is a thing that damaged people may do, I think. Even undamaged people, who knows? I know a lot of times when people go get drunk in a bar, because I used to do this too, when you're drunk and you're around like randos and you just start talking about nothingness, you start making stuff up about your life. And it's just a thing people do. I don't know. I don't do that. I don't even really like drink or hang anymore, but when I did, you best believe I'm making up lies to some random Joe at the bar. You best believe. But the thing with Amber is, like, the lies just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then she's like, now, why doesn't anyone believe me that I had cancer, or like about these allegations? And those are very serious things, and she's not an easy person to believe. It's the boy who cried wolf thing, right? And like, she is relatable in that way, but it's also just so adolescent. She's clearly stunted. You know, she needs to grow out of it, and it seems like she can't because she doesn't actually get therapy like she needs to, the right kind of therapy. I just think a lot of what she does is just a result of her childhood, but she's never worked past it. That's why she's still dwelling on it, and she always brings it up in every possible scenario. And she uses it as an excuse for her shittiness. Anyway, let's keep going.
What? Oh my god, are you for real?
Okay, we're done. Let's have a seat, shall we? Oh! Hi, Coda. Oh, it's not focusing. Hi, Coda. He's like, stop bothering me. I'm trying to rest. I feel like we'll just bop a squat here on my dirty floor, on my unmade bed in the background, because I have more to say. And I really want to talk about the fact that a lot of what Amber does also is because she's really insecure. And another thing I could completely relate to Amber on is being insecure, because I've felt insecure about my appearance, about my personality, my whole life. And I have a really hard time opening up and being my true self with people. Like, it takes a lot. I have to really get to know them. And I think maybe that's pretty common. But I think when you're so insecure about yourself and you're unsure of who you are, you tend to pick up everybody else's personality. I always hear people are like, you're funny or something. I'm like, I literally stole this personality from my brother. You know, I think it's a common thing that people do. And Amber is no different. She's just leeching off of people because she doesn't really know who she is. It is a little grating with her because she'll like pick up on sayings that other people have and she'll just use them to death. There's one she's using right now that I don't know why it grinds my gears so much. And I think it was maybe the ankle was talking about this ad nauseum. Is she just, oh my God, whoever taught her that, please get out of my room. So yeah, I think I get that. I get wanting to leech off of people that you think have good personalities. Something I've totally done for sure before I started getting therapy and working on my insecurities. And a lot of my insecurities about my looks come from the fact that I'm a woman. You know what I mean? Being a woman in society, any feminine person, everything you do is so scrutinized. And the things you see in the media and how we talk about aging, how we talk about women's facial features and their bodies and this, it's so hard. You're never going to meet the standards. It is what it is. We all know that, right? And when I was young, it really affected me because I'm like, I got the nose. I don't know. I've grown into myself, but you know, you don't ever let me show you my senior picture. You'd be like, what the hell, Shan? What was wrong with you? I had like a gap tooth. Not that there's anything wrong with a gap tooth, but I think the combination of things on my face, it was really bad. And I dated the first boy that ever liked me. My cat is rubbing against the tripod. And it did not end well for me. And that's what happens when you're insecure. You get into relationships that aren't healthy for you. You start acting in ways that aren't healthy for you. And that's what Amber does. She's just really insecure. And it's another thing that I think she can work through. As much as she does come across as smug and like she will be like checking herself out in the camera and all that, I really just think that that's a defense mechanism for how she feels about herself deep down. And I can't fault her for that. Like, that's really normal. And I completely understand, especially when you're a bigger body and society is so harsh on people who are big. It's just, there's no question about that. You can't debate that. That fat phobia is definitely real. And people treat you differently when you're big. It's just how it is. And yeah, I think she, in her mind, has a different picture of herself, which is also a defense mechanism, right? She has this picture of maybe a thin, beautiful woman living in LA as like a working actress, getting tons of attention and making tons of money. I feel like that's how she views herself in order to protect from the reality of the situation, because we all know that that is not the case for Miss Amber. And that makes me feel sad because I want her to be in the body that she wants. I want her to feel good about herself for real, like the real person. And the only way she's ever going to get better is if she acknowledges the real person in the mirror, and figuratively and literally, right? So yeah, it's one of those things that I can also relate to her on, because we've all experienced insecurity, and it really is a lifelong battle, truly. And I have a daughter, so this is like a very important topic to me, because I never want my daughter to feel this way. I want her to just be like the most confident person in the world from start to finish. Like, I just want to instill as much self-love into that child as I possibly can. But it's not easy, and I know she's gonna have her times, and school stuff, and people are mean. And I don't think I mentioned this. My daughter's also on the autism spectrum, so it's like there's that added thing where it's like now people have a reason to come after you, right? Like, especially if they know your diagnosis, or like maybe you don't act in the way that is socially acceptable, maybe your personality is a little bit different. Like, so there's just so many things, and I can go on forever about it, but I'm gonna shut up now because we're gonna make my bed. I'm making more coffee before I do anything, because obviously you need fresh coffee in your life. It is a Wednesday, hump day. I'm not usually off today, but I just felt like I needed an extra day, so I closed my book. And I'm really glad I did. Bye. And I get to talk to my friends, aka my freaking camera. All right. And another thing I do want to discuss though about Amber is her relationship with her mom, because I think it's very interesting. And I don't think it's as great as she wants us to believe it is. I mean, maybe that's obvious. But I also kind of have like a hot and cold relationship with my mom, and she has had a lot of struggles in her life, as we all do. But it really affected me when I was young. And now that I'm older and I'm a mom myself, I can completely understand why life got so hard for her, and why it can get very depressing. My mom had 3 children, and I don't want to go into like the details of it, but it just wasn't always easy for her, and my parents' marriage wasn't always so easy either. And she has, turned to things that aren't so great for her for comfort, and it just wasn't great for our relationship. And it just like, it's one of those things where we didn't really talk about it for a long time. And once I started going to therapy and working through some things that happened in the past, it kind of like became something I had to acknowledge with her in order to move forward in our relationship. And I want my mom to get better so bad. Like, it's the most important thing, one of the more important things in my life, because I love her very much, and I just want her to be happy and healthy. And I think with Mama Lynn, she's really come such a long way. She's clean, and she's been clean for years, it seems, and she really wants to repair this relationship with Amber, it feels like. But I think Amber just won't let her live down the past, because Amber has not lived down the past. She just brings it up in front of Mama Lynn, I think, in this very unsavory way, just based on what I've seen in her vlogs with Mama Lynn. And I feel like Mama's afraid of her a little bit, and so she's just become her yes man, and does whatever Amber wants, because Amber does kind of have like an aggressive, controlling thing about her, I've noticed, when she's around Mama Lynn, and she had this when she was in a relationship with Beck, I think. And that's why people are like, Amber, it's very obvious that your relationship with Beck was bad because you were aggressive and controlling. Maybe not physically, but definitely emotionally and with your words, right? Because words are really powerful. And yeah, so that's what I think is going on with Mama Lynn. I just think she's yesing her to death because she doesn't want Amber to like be mad at her, and she doesn't want there to be any more problems in their relationship, because I know Amber would just bring up everything that's happened, and does anyway, but were they to ever have a fight about something, I'm sure Amber uses what happened in the past against Mama Lynn, which is awful, because it's something that Mama Lynn has had to work through as well, and if you're going to forgive someone, then you have to forgive them wholly. You have to forgive them for everything, right? And I'm not saying forget, but just forgive, right? Like, move on, move past it. You have this time that you could spend together, make up for lost time, be with each other. And I really would just like, and she doesn't do this on camera because it's not really any of my business. Even though I'm yapping about it, I know it's not my business, but I just want to hear Amber say, I'm so proud of you, Mom. I'm so glad that we have this time together now. It's so wonderful to spend all this time with you and see that you're in a healthy relationship. And I hope it's healthy. I hope it's healthy. Based on the things that Amber told Erica. If Erica's not lying, I don't know if it is. Like, anyway, but I just hope it's healthy. But yeah, to be like, Mom, I'm so happy you're getting married and you're with someone you love and this is so great. I'm so proud of you. Yay, Mama Lynn. And Mama Lynn, if she hasn't said that to you, I will say that to you. Congratulations, Mama Lynn. You're doing awesome. I am rooting for you, girl. I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that. I get it. Relationships with moms, they're not always easy. It's a complex relationship for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Amber, she can be so harsh. Am I being Captain Obvious right now? Like, yeah, Shan, of course she can be harsh. She is.
I thought it was so cute on her.
Oh, it's long sleeve. What?
I just realized that we're wearing the same colors.
Girl, you're weird.
Black and red. What is it?
We did it. First task of the day done. Burp. I remember I used to watch Trisha Paytas's vlogs back in the day. I remember when she would do like her morning routine, and I will never forget her saying, making the bed is the first task of the day, and if you do that, the rest of the day has to go right. I used to love those videos. I wish that like old YouTube things were still popular like that, like nighttime routines, morning routines. Maybe that's what I'll do. Anyway, just a thought. But another thing I want to talk about with Amber is that she is in this perpetual state of victimhood. And another thing that I can really relate to, because when, well, not when, but I used to view myself as a victim of things, of situations in my life. And I really wanted people to see that I was a victim. I wanted people to see that I was hurting, that I was a hurt person, and I wanted everyone to know it, you know? And that is really the victim mentality for me. Making sure everybody knows that you have been victimized in some way by someone, somehow, and everybody is always trying to victimize you, and you're like this innocent bystander and all that BS. And it's just not true. And for Amber, she wants to be victimized so badly because she knows that she has victimized people in her life more often than not. And the same thing goes for me. I've been such a toxic person in other people's lives. And despite that, I still was like, this person has done me so wrong, and they're just so mean, and it's like, well, Shan, like, you were just as mean, you were just as toxic, and sorry, girl, like, that's just the truth. And it's such a weird thing to say, but I think this is true, that me realizing that I have been not such a great person, I've been a bad person to people, I've been not nice, I've been mean, I've been nasty, has helped me become a better person, if that makes sense. And realizing that the only person who was victimizing me was me, and that I should stop it, was life-changing. And it's helped me have more empathy for others, and I know why people act out and are toxic and are mean. I get it, you know? Because I've been there, I've been that person. And when people are hurting inside, it just comes out. It's like comes out as toxicity. And I think that's what's going on with Amber. And she just loves to be the victim because she probably just felt like she hasn't been able to do that in her life. To be like, well, Beck, you know, Beck, they victimized me and whatever. Like, she could just turn the story around onto somebody else. She can project her behavior onto somebody else and make herself look like the victim, right? And it's just very relatable. I've done that plenty of times, and it really takes a lot of self-work and self-reflection, which she claims she does in her diaries or journals. It takes a lot of that self-reflection to say, wow, I'm a douchebag, and I've been awful to this person. And in the relationship I'm in now, we've been together for a very long time now, almost 10 years. And this poor man has seen me through the worst of it, especially when I was in my early 20s. I was just such a nasty, toxic person to be around. And the fact that he's had to deal with that, I feel so bad. Like, why are you still with me? Like, what the heck? And I had to just apologize to him when I started working on myself and realizing how I was, and just be like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I did that to you. I'm so sorry I acted that way. I was a terrible partner, a terrible wife. And I really do apologize. And you can't make excuses, because I just was a bad person. I have no excuse. What am I going to say? Like, I had a really hard time as a child. That's why I was treating you like total shit. That's why I was turning you into a victim. You can't do that, Amber. So I get it. I get why she is that way. But it's just time to work through it. And I think if she's doing real self-reflection, she would be able to see that. Or if she was actually getting therapy, she would be able to see that. And clearly, that's not happening. I mean, based on what I've seen in her latest members only live stream, like, I've just seen clips, I'm not a member or anything, but she was acting really smug about the situation with Beck and their fiance, which, Amber, really? Like, you're gonna be smug about that? There's so many things that you have not addressed that are equally as wrong, right? As what's happening with Beck's fiance, or ex-fiance, I guess now, sadly. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Just another thing that she really needs to work through. Yeah.
4, do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
I think that's what this video is really about in the end, is that I don't think Amberlynn Reid is a bad person at all. I think that she has the potential to be a very good person and to be a healed person if she just puts in the work. And I've been watching Amber for forever. So, like, I'm definitely along for the ride. I'm in the car. I might be watching haters. I might be a part of Hater Nation, technically. But I do want to see her get better still. I still think it's possible. Because if it's possible for me, it's possible for anyone. There are ways. And it doesn't require having a child or any of those things that kind of, like, propelled me towards, you know, wanting to work on myself. But I think anyone at any point can decide, I'm tired of being like this. This is not serving my life. I'm miserable. I don't have any good memories to look back on. My relationships are so shallow. That anything could make someone change their mind about themselves and start putting in the work. And I don't think weight loss is the most important thing in her life. I think at this point, it's really just about getting down to a weight that's not as detrimental to her health, maybe. And I would just keep that off the internet, because in her latest vlog, she was bringing up comments that people had made about a meal she had that they thought she was underestimating the calories or whatever it was. And that's what happens when you start putting your weight loss online.
How to count calories. So stop coming for me, because it makes you look dumb.
Right? People are going to comment on it, and she clearly doesn't like that. So I just think it's for the best to maybe not talk about the weight loss and maybe just focus on the personal growth, the self-reflection, the working on self-esteem. I think that would be really interesting, and maybe a conversation with her mom that, like, isn't too personal, that she could put on the internet. They can just talk and talk about happy memories and talk about her grandma. We don't really know much about Grandma Lynn, other than she, like, kicked Amber out or something in the past. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's hope for her. I think there's hope for everyone. And I just feel like I needed to get this out, because sometimes I am, like, commenting on reaction channel videos. Like, you'll see me out there like, you are so right, do. So I'm definitely a part of the community, and I have a lot to say about Amber, and feel free to have conversations with me about it. I love to yap and gossip about Amber. I think she's very interesting. I cannot deny. So yeah, that's really what this is about. Going forward, I don't know that I'll talk about other YouTubers. I mean, I really only watch Amberlynn Reid reaction videos, to be honest. I don't know a lot of other YouTubers, but if there's people that you think I should look into, definitely leave them in the comments. I would love to maybe expand my horizons. I'm not a giant fan of Chantel. I just don't think she's as interesting, and there's less of a character there for me for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, other YouTubers out here in the YouTube space, I would totally be down to hear about more people. And I think in the future for me and this channel, I don't know, kind of mix it up, do a bunch of different things. I do want to do a review of my Whoop.
567.4 pounds.
Woo, woo! Ignore the fact that my arm's like really hairy. I haven't even had this a week, so I want to wait till I have like all 7 days of sleep recorded before I do a review on like the sleep tracking and the activity tracking. But yeah, because I am a very active person, believe it or not, I am very active.
At the 1 minute mark, I became entirely too exhausted.
And I have a very active job, so I like to keep track of what I'm doing. And it's nothing crazy. Like, I'm not like Cristiano Ronaldo or, you know, whoever. But so far it's been cool. I like the sleep tracking. That's really awesome. And it's helped me realize what patterns are causing my sleep to not be as great. Anyway, so one day I'm gonna make a review of Whoop for sure. I definitely want to get like a different band color because this is just the regular black one that it comes with. And there's a bunch of other ones you can get on Amazon or wherever. So yeah, something a little bit more fashionable because this is kind of boring. So yeah, so there is more to come for Shannon is Healing because Shannon is always healing. It's still going on, it's still happening. I'm not all the way there, just like Amber. I have a long way to go, for sure. But I just want to say, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Stick around, subscribe if you want to. This channel is really not that serious, but I'm having fun talking to myself, that's for sure. And if I could get some response out of it, that's everything, for sure. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Before I go, I just want to mention, I am so new to YouTube. I think I did mention this, but brand new. This is literally my second video. So if you have any tips or tricks to YouTube or things that you think would make the channel more entertaining, make me more entertaining, maybe some editing hacks, whatever the case may be, things you want to see, like I mentioned, please leave in the comments below, please. I would so appreciate it. You can send me a private message, truly do. I'll even leave my email somewhere in the description box below so we could have real personal correspondence if you want. Yeah, so that's that. Thanks again.
Like, do you know how many times they couldn't wait for you to leave so they could call me? Like, you have a gross wife. You have a cheater of a wife.